So, hello everyone and welcome to another video. So today we are doing part 2 of my wrap up. So I have a few books that I want to talk about. So let's just go over them and I will talk about how I felt about them. Some of them I don't have that much recollection from. So, the first book I want to talk about is Burn for Burn. And this book is about these three people, and they all have their reason for wanting revenge on different people. And basically, they decide to kind of become friends or like start hanging out so they can help each other with, getting revenge on the people that they want to get revenge for. So I gave these 3 stars. Overall, it was okay. It wasn't like really memorable. And my biggest thing was that 2 of those I could get why they wanted revenge. But the last one, I didn't get it. And, it was just some stupid thing. And she just drew all these conclusions. And yeah, so... And one other thing, I could really, see that this was really YA. Just because, once you get older, usually, I'm gonna say usually, you don't end up, doing something really like revenge on someone who has hurt you. Like, I mean, you can like pay back, but then, you don't do things that you usually don't do things that you can cause harm to another person. So yeah, 3 stars. It was okay, but it wasn't like a new favorite thing. Then I read One Fell Sweep, and this is the 3rd book in the Inn Chronicles. And this book, not this particular book, this series is about Dinah. And basically, she owns this magical inn on Earth where basically different creatures from different worlds around Earth can come to stay to be safe while they are like traveling to a different planet and need a stop. Then you can stop at this inn. And basically the inn draws kind of magic. So the more visitors you have, the stronger is the inn. And Dinah, she basically, in the first book, gets this inn that has not been used in years. So it's a really weak inn. And she needs to build up its strength. I give this last particular book 5 stars. I loved this, and I just love how Dinah is. She's really caring, and yeah, I love all these people who are in this book. And now I only miss one book in it follows a different character, but I think that you would need to read the 3 first books to know what is going on. Then I read The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. And this book, you are basically following 3 people in the Lavender family, or like 4. So basically you are following Ava Lavender and her mother and her grandmother. And basically Ava Lavender was born with wings, so she is something totally different. And basically, her mother is really not letting her go anywhere. So when she gets a little older, she sneaks out, and all kinds of different things happens. And it's really, this was, it gave me so many emotions. I think I listened to it in like one sitting. I gave it 4 stars. It was, yeah, it was good, and I was, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to talk about this book, but it was really good. But definitely check out the trigger warnings, because there are some triggers in this. And yeah, I overall really enjoyed this book. Then I read The Murder on the Links, and this is the, I think it's the second book in the Poirot series from Agatha Christie. And in this one, we are following Poirot and Hastings, and this time Poirot gets a letter from someone in somewhere. It might be Spain, Paris, something. Yeah. And basically, when they get there, he is dead, and they need to figure out who did it, why, and yeah, all kinds of different things. I gave it 3 stars. Overall, I enjoyed it. These first few books from Agatha Christie is not my favorite. But I am going to continue on with this series because, or not this series, but Agatha Christie as a whole, so this series as well. But I read them in publication order. So I try to get through some, like, not every single month, but I try to get to like maybe once a month, or maybe not that often, just because it's something that I need to be in the mood for. So yeah, this one was okay. Hastings did some stupid things, and yeah, overall I really did enjoy it, and it's just fun. You know, I see like Poirot on the TV, and yeah, I just overall really like these books. They are not my favorite, but overall I find them really interesting to, read about. Then I read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and this one. To be completely honest, I have no idea how I am going to explain this book, because I didn't understand this book. It's basically about this, he might be an alien, or not alien, but alien, and then he brings with like a person, and then they leave Earth, and then Earth blows up or something. And they are in space. I don't know how I'm going to explain this book. I give it 2 stars. That might be why. Basically, this is said to be a comedy. Like, a comedy has comedy in it, be funny. And, when you tell me this is supposed to be funny, and people say that this was so fun, I don't get it. I have a weird humor, and usually, like, comedy books and movies, I never find them funny. So the only reason I read this was because of like a prompt I got in Bookish Jeopardy, which was a TBR game I did this month, where I needed to read a comedy, and I didn't find it funny at all. I didn't particularly like it either. So yeah, I sat through this doing other things, and yeah, I just A lot of people love this. This one has a 4.22 in average. But I didn't like it. You know, that is like, sometimes I just don't vibe with books. The next book I read was The Duke and I have been thinking about reading this book for quite some time. I just haven't gotten to it, so now I want to watch the TV show and see, see it adapted. Basically, in this one we are following Daphne. And Daphne, she wants to get married, but she wants to, be married to someone she likes, and yeah, and then she meets Simon. Simon, he doesn't want to get married because of something from his past. And basically, they meet, they have an instant attraction.
I just want to say that they also start to fake date just because Simon doesn't want to get married, as I said, and he just wants people to get off his back. And Daphne wants her mother to just step down a little. So they decide to fake date for a while, just so they can, find, like, so Simon don't have to get married, but also for Daphne to get more suitors because of Simon, because a lot of people really like him because he's a duke.
And then something happens and they have to get married, and now there are a lot of things going around. So I gave this 4 stars. I loved this book, but if you have heard people talk about it, you have heard that it's one scene that a lot of people don't like, that one scene, and give it 2 stars. I gave it 4 stars because I didn't like that scene, but overall I really enjoyed this book. There is also like a few things that Simon says that basically he's not telling the full truth, and I just feel like he should have been completely honest. And because Daphne, she was, let's call it, she didn't get what basically he was saying, something in those lines. So yeah, then I read Private Lies, and this is a cozy mystery. And this was also for a prompt on my book club. Read a cozy mystery. I don't read a lot of cozy mysteries, so basically I needed to find something that was that. And I actually had this on my TBR, like on my Goodreads shelf, so I must have found it interesting when I read what it was about. So this is about Jane, and basically she has a shady childhood. She was always a moving target, and basically her mother she's like a private eye. And then her mother goes missing when she is like during her graduation, and basically she needs to figure out what is happening and why. And basically her mother has had a 2-year affair with this guy, and basically she just finds him really sketchy. And then she figures out her mom has been blackmailing this guy, and just a lot of things is happening. And like Jane, she thinks that she doesn't even know her mother, so she must figure out where is her mom, what is happening. I actually gave this book 4 stars. It was a lot of fun, and I want to continue on. It is at least like one more book, So yeah, overall this was a lot of fun, and yeah, I just can't wait to get to this and see how this book goes. Then I read The Diary of a Young Girl, and this is about Anne Frank, and this is, Anne Frank's diary that she wrote when she was up in the attic, hidden during, the war where the Nazis were out after the Jews. And basically, she writes her diary. And yeah, I didn't give this a rating because, I don't like rating people's life, and I don't want to rate Anne Frank's life because it must have been, really, really like difficult to live in such a small space, and never know if or when you are going to be like found. Then I read The Girl Next Door, and this we are kind of, let's call it, in the headspace of this boy, and he meets this girl, and basically this girl is like living in this house, and her sister is basically living in the basement, being abused, and basically the woman that has this, I don't remember if it's the aunt. Basically, they are living with the aunt who is really crazy nuts, and the aunt's sons is also like really crazy, and everything is just spiraling into craziness. And this boy, he needs to basically figure out what is he going to do. So I give it 3 stars. So I have so mixed feelings about this book because it's really like interesting to see how this book is, but then also it was horrible reading about this. It was so much horrible things that was happening, and I was this close to, just putting this book down, saying I can't do this and I don't have any triggers. But this book almost took the cake, and I almost just didn't it was, definitely check the trigger warnings before you go into this book, because it is so many trigger warnings that I was feeling so sorry for this girl, or these 2 girls. And yeah, and the thing with this book is that this boy, he could have stopped it all after like the first time that he saw anything happen. He could have stopped it the first time, like with telling anyone, but he didn't. So yeah, and then I read The Lies of Loch Lamora, and this is about Loch, and he basically has this gang who steals from the rich, but the poor never sees anything. They take it all to themselves. And then he gets mixed up in some things, and then he and his gang is basically needing to watch every step because it's basically really dangerous. That is like the short definition of this book. I don't want to tell you too much because I just think that you should go into this and just read it. I give it 5 stars. I loved it. Basically, I also listened to the audiobook. It was so good, and I loved to read this and basically have the book also following along in the book. This was really good. I love Loch, and yeah, it was really, really interesting, and I flew through it. So yeah, definitely I need to continue on with this series and see how this is going to end. But also, I don't want to take it like too fast because not all the books are out. Then I read This Is How You Lose the Time War, and this is basically about these two women, and they are basically on different sides of a kind of a, let's call it a battle, a war. And basically they send like letters, excuse the cats, and basically they send messages to each other, and in the beginning they are enemies, and they turn into something else. So this is it called sapphic book. I gave it 3 stars. Overall, I really did enjoy this book. I was just we know that I don't like short books, and to be honest, I didn't know what was going on. I loved the writing. The writing was beautiful. Overall, I didn't know what was going on. And then the last book I read was Dear Aaron. And in this one we are following Ruby. And Ruby, she has signed up to write a soldier overseas. And basically it's like 1 letter or email a week for like the entire deployment. And yeah, she basically gets this guy called Aaron, and she didn't expect to fall in love with him. And yeah, this was so much fun. It has basically 2 of my favorite jokes in them that I was laughing at. If you have seen my vlog for like that was last week, you would have seen I was laughing so hard, and yeah, it was just so much fun. I loved it, and yeah, Mariana Zapata is such a good author. I love her, and yeah, I can't wait to read more of Mariana Zapata's books. But that was all the books from like the last half of the month, so it wasn't as many books, but it was still a lot of books. I read 26 books throughout the month, which is amazing. It doesn't beat my best month though, but it's my 3rd best month. So yeah, it was an amazing month. I read a lot of good books, some misses, but mostly good ones. But yeah, that was it for this video. I hope you liked it, and I will see you next time for another one.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.